Welcome to the show, Billy Lockett, piano man from Northampton. Your journey in music is raw and real, based on the songs that you write. From touring with Birdy and Lana Del Rey to performing on the Late Late Show, and making history with simultaneous classic and D&B radio play, your path has been nothing ordinary. After heartbreak yourself, you've had, well, a few wild detours, including an accidental afro and a cat named Companion. You found basically songwriting was your go-to for healing and sort of self-release. Your debut album, Abington Grove, was done in your dad's basement. Your story is one of resilience and reinvention, which really sings to what we love on Music for Global Change. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show, Billy. Please do tell us more.
Hi. How's it going?
How's your journey been?
God, it's up and down.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
You know, I think that's everyone's journey, really, isn't it?
Sure.
But the ups are so good that it makes the long downs bearable. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
That's right.
That's
The
good.
sad thing is that I feel like the downs are a lot longer than the ups. The ups, it's almost like if you blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Oh my
But
God.
you know, I'm lucky that I've had some ups. I think a lot of people do this for a long time and they don't get any ups, really,
Yeah.
do they?
Take them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take
You
it.
know,
Yeah, grab them with both
look,
hands.
that sounds like my uncle. I always tell this story about so I was 13 and my uncle said, you getting kind of serious about this music thing, huh? I said, yeah. He said, well, it's chicken today and feathers tomorrow.
Yeah.
It, definitely.
That's like that's what you,
Yeah.
it's like you was talking about, when it feels good, it's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I think it's about I think the key to success, I think, is dealing with the the points when things aren't really happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you know the people who are truly doing this for the right reasons. I think that's when they start making music. You know, that's when
Yeah.
you just hone in on writing songs and recording and learning. You know,
Mm.
I've had a couple of years. Well, I've had about a year when I was touring, and then for the last 5 or 6 months, I haven't been touring, and I've sort of been waiting for for the second album to come out.
Hmm.
Um, and in that time, I've just been just getting better at production. And you know, I'm in my cellar right now. This is where I make everything. You know, I literally make all my own, produce, mix everything down here, all self-sufficiently. And if I hadn't got that, I would just be walking around in circles waiting for the next thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So those
Yeah. Yeah.
downtime, that's the space for
yeah,
you to go, oh God, I can get better, you
yeah,
know, rather than just waiting and going, nothing's going on, I'm going mad. You know?
yeah. That's it.
Wow. Did your writing accelerate around the time of the COVID?
It did, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wrote constantly. I mean, I'm always writing, to be honest. Every day I'm down here making music. I mean, I'm literally working on something right now. Recently, though, I've been producing for other artists, just
Okay.
because I thought, you know, sometimes you get bored of yourself, you know,
Yeah, of course.
and then you kind
Yeah.
of, no, I've written the same song 9 times this month, so I think, I think maybe it's a time to just work on some other artists. So
Mm.
that's been weirdly therapeutic. I actually I'm starting to think maybe I enjoy it more than working on my own stuff.
Right.
You almost
Yeah. Yeah.
because you can look from afar with a project for someone else, you know. And when an artist comes to me and they're kind of like, "Oh, I've got this song that I've been fighting with for the last 2 years, and there's 14 versions of it, and I don't know what's going wrong with it," and it's really cool to hear it and kind of just go, "Oh, well, the verse is too long, and the pre's too wordy, and the chorus isn't hooky enough, and we'll just, we'll change that around." And then when you sort of show it to them at the end, and they're like, "Oh, finally,"
Yeah.
that's a great feeling.
Mm.
You don't really get that with your own stuff. You kind of just, when you crack a puzzle with your own song, I don't know, it just doesn't feel Like, it just feels like I don't, you don't notice it as much because
Mm.
it's just
Yeah.
you helping yourself,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But it's a beautiful feeling to have someone else interpret it to your song, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, taking your lyrics and putting their own emotion on it. That's the coolest feeling to me, right?
yeah, exactly. And being able to kind of, show someone the way they always wanted to sound,
Mm.
and they're like, oh my God, my voice sounds, I've never heard it like that, and it's just a few little
Wow.
EQ things and, just compressing a reverb just slightly or the tiny little tweaks for hours and hours. And it just ends up it's almost like painting with sound, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
but it's fun, I just love music. So whether it's my own stuff or someone else's, I don't really care as long as I'm creating something.
How much do you love music?
Well, it's the only thing I'm good at.
Mm,
Actually, apart from tennis, pretty good at
All right,
tennis.
okay.
Uh,
okay.
but but yeah, music's the only thing.
So you write social conscious lyrical content.
Well, yeah, I mean, I write whatever I'm feeling, whatever is happening in my life. If there's a mate going through something, then I'm
Mm.
like, oh, tell me about that. I'm almost kind of I sort of crave people's tragedy.
Right.
Oh my God.
I'm sort of like, oh, can you tell me more about this awful thing that's just happened to
Mm.
you? Just like,
Oh
okay.
my
And then a week later, there's a song.
They're like, is that about me? Mm.
Yeah. But it has to be, it has to
Yeah.
mean something to you, isn't it? I've always struck. There's been a couple of songs in my career that I've released that other people have written for me. I think it's happened twice out of about 200 songs.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there was just something about them that just didn't feel honest. It
Right.
felt
Yeah.
fake, and I think it was when I was signed to major labels, and they were kind of like, this was written by a really big writer, and we think this will be a hit. And you're kind of like, yeah, but the point for me isn't really having a hit, which I know is the worst thing to ever tell a label, but it really isn't. It's about loving what I do, and if I
Yeah.
haven't done it, how can I love it? Whole
Yeah.
point of
Right.
love that you made it.
Keeps yourself
Singing
true, doesn't
it's
it?
not
Yeah.
enough for me.
Mm.
I like to be involved in the process.
Now, do you do videos to your songs too as well?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but then again, recently it almost feels like music videos are they're becoming a totally different thing these days. It almost feels like it's a visualize. I mean, the whole music industry is just like just insane at the moment. I don't even know. I don't know where we're going with it. Yeah,
It's gone.
it's
Mm.
kind of gone, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But making music has never been more exciting.
Mm.
Everyone can have a studio in their house and
That's
create.
true.
So that's great.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
in terms of having gatekeepers and tastemakers, I almost feel like that was kind of a good thing because it meant, you know, the good things would it worked and bad things didn't. Or yeah, but then again, what is bad? But
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, there is some bad, that is
Oh
working.
my God. Come on, man. I asked my buddy, I said, man, what kind of music do you like? He said, good music.
Mm.
You can keep the rest.
So it's a hard one at the moment because you kind of like you don't even know. There's not really any blueprint on how to make a song go big, really,
Yeah.
nowadays. And
Well,
so in a way, you almost don't even worry about that anymore. You just
Mm.
keep making stuff and keep putting it out. If one goes, it goes. But it's
Mm.
almost one of those things of you're so busy making it that by the time one of them becomes a hit, it's basically your manager tapping you on the shoulder going, oh, by the way, that song you released like a year ago is a hit. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Anyway, I'm in the middle of something new now. It's
why you're right is like, if you remember back in the days, they used to make a record, but it was always somebody. It wasn't the writer that chose the hit song. It was always the executive guy, right?
Mm.
He said, this is the one we gonna put out. But that might not have been as good as something else that was on the record. that's why I dug what Barry Gordy was doing with Motown. Like they record a record and he'd go down to the local DJ, or some place where people dancing and stuff. And he'll watch everything going on. He say, "Hey, put this record on after that. It's $20. Put this on." And he would test it, really cool. He just sit there and see who jumps. You know what I mean?
Interesting. That's great.
And if everybody started jumping on the floor, he would go put that song out the next night. But if they didn't move, he just said, "Okay, well, that's a dud."
I mean, sometimes though, it's almost like a record can work live, but then doesn't work when you
On a
listen.
recording.
Yeah, on the recording.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes it can be the opposite, can't it? Where you think that it goes off live and then you record it. It's just like, nah, this isn't this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. I mean, to be honest, when me and the band go out on tours and things, we'll test new songs. Um, and yeah, it's been a really good gauge on the second album of what the singles are going to be. Because you can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of instantly like, oh, okay, that was different. That felt like something else, And people don't know the song, so if they don't know it and they're still into it, then you're like, oh man, we are on a winner here.
I had a Chinese buddy. He was like in the tech business, and he says, "You musicians don't know how to make money." He said, "What you have now that you didn't have back then was you could be performing now. You looking out there in the crowd, and you can see and gauge, how much they are into the song, right? And if you see people start, oh, they start getting out of their chair and all that kind of stuff like that, then you go, well, did you like that? Yeah, text me right here. You can buy it right now." And he said, "You might have made another $700 right there on the spot because of instant gratification."
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of the internet. There are some great things about the new music industry. The fact that
Yeah.
people can, you could do an online show and be in front of, millions of people. A venue wouldn't even be big enough for the amount of people that could be on a live stream. I get that. I think the problem with it is we have sort of normalized accessibility, so there is no mystery anymore. Um, and I
Right.
almost feel like that's sometimes that was a beauty in music. It was like, I wonder what, Bob Dylan's Facebook would have looked like. Do you know what I mean? Would he have even had one? I mean, would John Lennon's TikTok be
Yeah, right.
popped up? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Would he be-
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Imagine Martin Luther King with the internet.
Yeah. Oh my
Mm,
God. Those Facebook groups would be going on, wouldn't they? Yeah.
mm, different.
I know. You'd
Amazing.
be getting banned from Twitter every week. Do you know what I mean? And coming back on and then go. But then again, part of it, there is this question of, well, okay, we'll say if that's the case, and I can't imagine someone like John Lennon being good. I was going to say Prince being good at TikTok, but I can imagine Prince being great at TikTok. Actually,
Oh
weirdly,
my
I feel like he'd smash TikTok. But John Lennon, I can't imagine him doing it. And if
No,
he
God.
wasn't going to do it, does that mean he just wouldn't make it? You know
yeah.
what I mean? Does that mean in this world, someone like
You need,
him just wouldn't
yeah.
be heard? And then
Hmm.
Yeah.
you're kind of like, oh God, so is it about how good you are, or is it about how good you are at the marketing platform that's available at the time?
Wow.
Because some people are incredible at social media, but they're average musicians, and then there's a chump like me that slaves in the cellar constantly trying to get better. But really, what I should be doing is dancing in front of a phone. Really, if I really want to build my career up, I should be doing a TikTok every day, and I just can't. But that's
You,
just
you
not
know,
what I do.
I did a song with a guy and we asked everybody to dance with the song from different countries. And it's
Oh,
the coolest thing, man, because they're dancing to your song right there, you know, and they're feeling it, and that then they go tell all their friends, "Hey, check me out, I'm dancing on," all that stuff. You can expand it in so many ways.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, it's an amazing way of expressing yourself. Don't get me wrong, and there's something really cool about the fact that when you make a track, you can just put it out, and you can release it pretty much the next day. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
yourself and own all the rights, and then you can do a video in your house of something creative and cool, you know, what that costs you nothing. And if it's interesting and fun, the day after that, you could be earning tens of thousands of pounds if it goes viral. I mean, in 3 or 4 days, you can go from nothing to having a hit song with a video, and all of a sudden everything's changed for your whole life. And you could be 12 years old with no manager, no label, no money, no PR, nothing, no booking agent. You could never have done a gig. That's incredible. I love that. However,
Yeah.
it's also means that it pushes people into a situation that they're not ready for.
Yeah.
So then
Mhm.
all of a sudden they've got this massive amount of fan base and they haven't done the work to hold it. They haven't been able to hold on to it because they haven't done all the normal training that you do to build up to get a hit, where you had to do that back in the day. There was no shortcuts. And so the problem then is your second song doesn't do that, and your third song doesn't do that, and all of a sudden everyone forgets about you, the label drops you, and then you get to 14, 15 years old and you feel like a failure
Mm.
because you've had a massive career that ended before you were even 14, you know, and then you've got to try and do all the training already after you've had this feeling of, oh, but I had everything and I lost it. You
Mm.
know, what kind of world and career can you have everything and lose it before the age of 14? I mean, that
And
mental health kicks in, and it just can really ruin people's lives before they've even started, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the
see,
scary.
all three of us was here before the computers, right?
Very true. Very, very
So,
true.
so and like you said, they can go get a little hit out, but then that they've never entertained before,
Mm.
Yeah,
right? And those
yeah.
two things have to go together, man. You got to be strong at both of them.
Absolutely.
A lot of these kids, I gotta tell them that all the time. There's etiquette for being on stage as
Mm.
well. Just like it's a different microphone singing live than it is a recording mic, and
Mm.
you have to approach them totally different. There's a lot to learn like that being a vocalist. And then you turn into an actor as well. So, if you're doing 10 songs, you don't want to just stand there on the stage and don't move. Yeah, it's got to be some emotion with the songs. You know what I
Mm.
mean, Tom?
Definitely. Well, I mean, I haven't mentioned it yet, but tell us what it was like to be on The Voice. You were on The Voice UK 2024, and yeah, just want to know your take on it. What happened? How it has hopefully been a positive experience for you, and what it was like.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It was a positive experience. They contacted me about a year before on
Okay,
Instagram, and they just kind of said, "Hey, we're sort of looking to cast some more established singers into the show
right.
who can kind of sort of don't have to audition as intensely as everyone else." So I skipped quite a few auditions, and it sort of went pretty much straight to the TV
With
round.
what you thought, yeah.
I was kind of thinking at the time I'd already I'd had my first album had gone top 10. I'd been signed to Warner. I'd been dropped. Then I got signed to Virgin, and I was just about to be dropped. And I think the rules of the show was you couldn't do it if you were signed.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it was kind of perfect timing, really, because I knew that I was going to come out of my contract was going to end with Virgin like a month before the show. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe that's a sign,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And but then there was also this. I talked to a lot of my music industry friends, and 90% of them were like, "Don't do it. This is you're big. You're too big for this. It's going to
Right.
make you like you're desperate or try." Because a lot of the artists, a lot of the singers on this, pretty much 99% of the singers on the show, have other jobs. This wasn't
Yeah.
like that. This was literally this has been my full-time thing for 12 years.
Mm.
So there was a sort of a thing of, oh, maybe this isn't for me, but at the same time, I was thinking, this is TV. This is mainstream TV. This is
Right.
Saturday night. This is like I've got 20 minutes of airtime. They're going to come to my house. They're going to interview my mum.
Mm.
This is like, this is big marketing. Do you know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is like
Absolutely.
huge PR. You wouldn't even get that on, Jules Holland or any late show. They're not coming to your house and interviewing you for 15, 20
Right.
minutes. And you do the song. So I was like, okay, right, why, and a couple of my mates who were like, I really do respect in the industry were kind of like, I think you should do it. And I'm thinking, okay, right, why not? So my rules were I'll only do it if they let me do my own song. and I'll only do it if they let me play the piano while I'm singing. So I don't want to be
Mm.
standing there with a backing track. That's just not me. And they let me do that. And the song was already out. So I
Yeah.
was thinking, okay, this could be good for the streams. I'm going to have, millions of viewers hearing my original song that they
Yeah.
can always Shazam and add it on Spotify and all this. So I got everything ready really. And then it was, it was pretty crazy, really. I mean, obviously the audition was long. It was a long day, and I was
Yeah.
already on a European tour at the time, so I had to drive overnight, I
Oh, wow.
think,
Okay.
Glasgow to Liverpool in my
Mhm.
photographer's Renault Clio, tiny little
Wow.
car, like just like
Mhm.
asleep upright through the night. Got there, waited all day. I remember I had a really bad voice at the time as well. I downed so much water, but it just, when you just feel bunged up, stress as well. Because I kept
Mm.
having thoughts of like, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get through
Mhm.
because otherwise everybody's been lying to me for my whole life.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
like, I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
like good enough to get through this. Um, but there's always that voice going, yeah, but what if you don't?
Right.
And then you're like, oh, what? What do
Yeah.
you
Right.
mean? Like,
Wow.
what if you don't? And then the whole world sees that you failed. And you're like, oh God, this is
Well, this is it,
terrible.
isn't it? Yeah. A bit of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was fine. I wasn't nervous about it until right before you were about to go on the stage.
Mm.
And they make you wait in silence for about 5 minutes on the side of the
Mhm.
stage. And I think they do that intentionally just to
Mm.
freak you out a bit.
Build up the tension. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything went silent. They say they're getting all the cameras ready, but I was thinking, nah, this is a play. I know what this is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's telly. Um, and then I did it, and to be honest, I got lucky because I had a coach. I think Leanne Rhymes turned really early on.
Mm.
I don't even think I'd got to the chorus yet when she turned.
Mm.
So, and I was thinking, all I need is one.
Yeah. That's
And I
fair.
mean, and then luckily throughout the song, all four coaches turned, and
Mm.
it was a kind of it was an audition of dreams, really. I mean, it's on YouTube and it's
Yeah.
insane. I mean, the whole thing just became a circus. They ended up serenading me one by one, and I turned my chair so that so that I was then the coach and they were the singers. It was
Gotcha.
bonkers, really. I mean, it was just madness. They were all basically begging.
Yeah.
I'd never experienced anything like it. It was such a crazy, it was just a whirlwind. I had no memory of it afterwards. It was so intense. It was almost like the polar opposite of trauma. So
Yeah.
it almost left the same kind of like, what the hell happened? I can't remember, when you have memory loss of how insane everything was.
Mm.
Tom Jones telling me I'm going to be the biggest thing in the world is like, it's just insane. I mean,
Really.
it was the
Brilliant.
most beautiful moment of my life. I went out on the next round, but to be honest, I wasn't that bothered about it. All I wanted was that first moment
Yeah.
of TV
Sure.
thing. That was I got what I needed out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
5, 6 months later, and then you spend the next 5, 6 months and you're thinking, okay, so it's going to come on the telly soon. And I kept thinking, I'm pretty sure that was, a big moment. I'm
Mm.
pretty, you always build things up more in your head. You ever done like a gig that feels amazing and then you watch the video back and you're like, I'm sure they were moving more than that. Like at the time,
Yeah.
we were having more fun than they are on this. But then with this, I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure this was as sick as I think it was. Uh, and then when it aired, it was just it was even more insane than I remembered.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the song went to number one. My song went to number one the next day.
Mm.
And it went number one on the downloads charts, and then it was number 5 in the official chart. It was my first top 10, and then I had a headline tour on sale, which completely sold out. Yeah, it pretty much changed my life, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. It was suddenly I was famous. It kind
Mm.
of felt like, I'd walk around and it'd be like, oh, you're that guy from that show, which is
Yeah,
annoying
yeah,
because I've done so much more
yeah.
than that.
Just become
But,
that one guy from that
yeah,
show.
you're the guy that did that thing that I saw once. And you're like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
but I toured with Electric Light Orchestra. Who? Okay, right. And then you start to realize, you know what? It doesn't matter how you know me,
Mm.
as long
Yeah.
as you do.
You're out there and you're known
Yeah,
regardless
as
of.
long as you know it, as long as you're listening, I'm not bothered whether it was from a TV ad
Well, it's
or
definitely
from a
positive
credible
stuff.
source.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you do you plan to tour pretty soon?
So yeah, I mean, I don't know when this goes out, so I don't know whether I'm allowed to even talk about it yet. But I've got a tour with a band called Scouting for Girls, and then I've got a headline tour after that. But at the moment, I'm in a, you know what it's like. This whole thing is waves.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm in a calm before the storm
Come
moment.
before the storm. Yeah, absolutely.
What capacities are the venues you work?
When I'm doing my own headline shows, it's between 300 and 1,000. I think London we do 1,000,
Yeah,
and everywhere else we do about 400 or 500. You know, the smaller cities probably
yeah,
300. But
yeah.
but I really love small venues.
Mm.
I've always been into, sticky floors and low ceilings, and kind of being able to.
Intimate
It's
gigs. Yeah,
intimate,
yeah.
man. It's intimate, you know.
Intimate gigs. Yeah.
The first time I saw Prince, it was about 200 people, right? And he just turned it out, you know. So it's wonderful. Performing is, would you rather perform than
Yeah.
record?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because I spend so much of my life in the studio. Pretty much 90% of my life is in the studio, but I love gigging. I love it so much. And I guess now I've just started a band. Well, I mean, I've had a band for about a year now.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and the feeling you get when you're playing with them all and everything just comes together. And we don't have any track either. We've made a rule of no track. Everything that you hear is played.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Excellent.
it's
That's
kind of,
that's that's my whole mantra right there because we were here before computers, man. I gotta remind kids all the time. You know there was music here before computers, right?
yeah,
Because they like,
you see these bands where they're like, oh, we've had to cancel the gig because the laptop stopped working. And you're just thinking like, oh no.
Yeah, the backing track's broken because
you know what I mean? That is so cold-blooded you saying that, but that's real, man.
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and nowadays, I mean, we don't even use in-ears, we're literally on monitors,
Yeah.
we're doing it the old school way because I want it to sound real. I want it to
Yeah.
sound like the 60s. And so it's like if you want it to sound like the 60s, you've got to do it like the 60s.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
real. And the great thing is
And
sometimes when
then,
we make a mistake, we all look at each other and we just find where we are and we're back in. And always
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes it makes the imperfections kind of make it more interesting. Whereas if you're on a laptop and you go off the beat, oh God,
Yeah.
the whole song is a
it's
shambles.
over.
Ruins it.
It's a wrap. Uh, but you can't beat the sound of a human being, man.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I've done that demonstration before. You got some talented musicians been home practicing all day and can't wait to go play at night. If you do the computer, it's gonna sound the same every time. But if you take a guy on stage, you guys about to start playing some blues, and you step on his foot just before he go on the stage, it sounds different. It's it's gonna sound different
Because he's mad.
tonight.
Yeah. Sometimes I worry with that when I'm in the recording process. Sometimes I'm kind of like try and stop myself from making it so bang on the click and
Mm.
trying not to auto tune too much and or trying to keep the imperfections in there to an extent.
Mm.
Obviously it's a recording, so you don't want it to sound too messy, but
No.
it's about knowing, being good at making those decisions of going, is that a mistake or is that actually like part of the beauty of it?
When I went to go see the Motown Review, and do you know they didn't even have monitors back then,
Mm.
and the singer's perfect pitch, the harmony's perfect pitch. You know what I mean? That was cheating for them to have some monitors, right? Because they
Wow.
was so they was so polished,
Mm.
And these kids today they can't if they don't have ear. What's the thing that you put in your ear and all that? They're lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They're lost.
I mean, this live auto tune as well. This thing where you've got mics where you sing and it automatically auto tunes.
Oh, that's cool. That's cheating.
That's just cheating.
It's
Yeah.
like, what? Are we literally there now? I mean, at some
Yeah.
point, they're not even going to have to be on stage. Do
No,
you know? It's
quite.
just gonna be a point where you just push a
A
button,
hologram and just
you just turn up. and then this thing comes out, you know, and you can do 40 shows a night. You do a whole tour in one night. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Just stick
Right.
holograms in. I'm doing
Broadcasts from
Bristol,
different
London,
places around
Manchester, and Glasgow, all at 7 o'clock, the same time.
Well, it's the way of the
That's it.
potential horrific
That's crazy,
future we're
Billy.
looking at, isn't it?
I know,
I
it's
can
AI.
imagine that, man. That's crazy.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It's the point of it is doing it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like you're missing out on all the fun if you don't. If you like, it's the same with production. Like I've learned how to produce, not well, kind of because I had to, because it was expensive not to. But at the same time, it's been so fun.
Yeah.
Like I actually feel like if you don't learn how to, you know, be, you know, a great performer, and if you don't learn how to be a great showman and learn about EQs and compression and all these things, you're just like missing out, really.
Yeah. It's like Miles Davis said. This guy goes, so you're playing bad notes. He said there are none.
There's no bad notes. Yeah.
There are no bad notes, right? You gotta be open to just listening to emotion and stuff like that, and great notes and great playing. Billy, thank you so much, man, for taking the time
Yeah.
for your privilege of your time to come on the show today, man. Thank you so much for that. I was with Ronnie last night. You know what I mean? We went to go see some music and stuff. I love her, man. She's like a dot connector, you know. And
Yes.
but like I said, thanks so much. And Tom's gonna get all your info so we can spread the love. Okay.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Just in that vein, just need your any website information you got, any kind of social media handles, anything like that you can give us. What we'll do is put it in the description of the video here, and people can go out and check what you're doing.
So it's just www.billylockett.com, and then I've got Instagram. It's at Billy Lockett. Facebook is at Billy Lockett.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that. Google me.
All right, good stuff. Nice. All right, definitely.
Yeah, brother. Well, much love to you, brother. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks for joining us. Really good.
Okay, Billy.
Good stuff.
All the best.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.